Hello, Watem here and welcome back to some more Umineko When Seagulls Cry. Let's continue with this. Actually first, where we've just finished part 40, which, based on most Umineko and Higurashi stuff I've come across, means that we're getting very close to the end. So, let's see how far we get. A blizzard of gold leaf seeped up from around the table. They were countless gold butterflies. It was the first time George had seen them, so it might have looked like some kind of illusion. But God already knew. He knew that those gold butterflies were far from beautiful, and that they would bring about some kind of misfortune. And that gold swelled, trying to suck Shannon in.
Shannon-san! Hashite!
Shannon also realized that the gold butterflies were trying to swallow her up. She ran on steadily, her expression still shocked. As she did, gold butterflies danced around her all at once. They grouped together. They tried to swallow her up.
Shannon! くそ、なんだこれは。これが君たちの言っていた黄金の蝶なのか。早く外へ。こいつらめ。くそ、くそ。
George and Gordo rushed up to Shannon, driving off the cloud of butterflies. And while the butterflies were scattered, they ran towards the broken window. However, they needed a good footing to get out the window, which was surrounded by shards of broken glass. When they'd entered, there had been enough time to prepare for that, but now there was none. No carpet.
扉から出よう。足場を探してる時間なんかない。
But did we have anything about the locking mechanism for chapel? Or is it that there is no way of opening or closing it without the key only? Anyway, no way of unlocking it or locking it. Or locked, you know?
くそ、このオンポロが。ジョージ様、お早く。くそ、なめるな。
Gordo took off his jacket, swinging it around and scattering the group of butterflies. But saying he was outnumbered would be a real understatement. It was doubtful that it even bought them a short amount of time. Oof. George struggled with a broken handle. Its age showed, and it didn't turn well. I can't leave it to strength. It needs the right angle, if there's some trick to it.
ジョージ様、くそー。 この化け物どもが。
At that moment, Gordo saw it. He was seen by it. In other words, their eyes met. How? Isn't he looking at a door? Nope. Oh, on top of a party table. No, with a stained glass behind it, floating, laughing, was the figure of a witch. He saw the figure of the laughing witch in the centre of a golden whirlwind, with the gold butterflies fluttering about at the ready. Interesting that they're showing the portrait. It should have been Gordo's first meeting with her, but he knew her at a glance. Just like the other servants had said, this was certainly the witch of the portrait herself. Oh, now we see her. And that would be the ring.
そろそろ晩餐の時間ではないか。すでにわらわはこの屋敷のホストである。そなたらを素晴らしきディナーで歓待しなくてはならぬというもの。おあつらえ向きに3人ではないか。これは実に好都合。
うわー。あ、開いた。
Oh, okay. I was expecting him to try to like charge the door down.
ゴーダさん、早く。ベアトリーチェ様。
足を止めてもよいのか?
Actually, let me just check. Who was it that locked eyes with her? Was it Goda? Goda saw it. Yeah, okay, I thought it said George. My bad.
ここがそなたらの墓場にふさわしいというなら、それもよかろうぞ。かつての主の傍らにて死後も使えたいというその心意気はたたえようぞ。
I suppose for a second that this 19th person isn't actually the culprit, and is instead something similar, or some other person. It would be possible if maybe she's dead, and this is something similar to like Canon was, since no one knows what Beatrice should be like. They wouldn't be that hard to impersonate her, basically. The golden whirlwind wrapped around the witch burst. It was like an evil hand that literally spread its fingers and was trying to attack them. The cloud of gold butterflies attacked with a fluttering sound. So the question is, how did she get in there? George's voice brought Shannon and Goda back to their senses. Standing here now would make them like frogs getting stared down by a snake. Or a deer in the headlights. They had to resist. They had to fight this incarnation of new, brutal and frightening order in which Rokkenjima had been enveloped. There was no time to take out their umbrellas. The three of them dashed out into the pouring rain. The three of them never realized because they didn't turn around. Butterflies don't like rain. The gold butterflies apparently couldn't handle the rain too well. This hampered their ability to chase after the humans. Which makes me wonder what that original butterfly that Genji got rid of was attempting to do. The three people ran from their golden pursuers and flew into the mansion. They unlocked the door and dashed into the room. A bit of scent from Natsu's favourite gentle incense remained in there. However, there was no time to let that calm them now. Shannon's womanly sensibilities led her to conclude that. But next to the bed, there was only an incense burner, a half-read novel, and glasses. However, the dresser was elegant and had many drawers, and it would be understandable if she kept some of her valuables there. He began to violently open each one of the dressers. He had to hurry. He couldn't actually hear footsteps, but he had the feeling the witch was approaching. He had the feeling that her laugh was approaching. He emptied the drawers one by one and examined their contents. Every small box for makeup looked like a treasure box, and the amount of effort it would take to inspect all of them made him feel a little dizzy. Oh. At a glance, it looked slightly larger than a music box. When shaken, it rustled as though various small objects were inside. But it was locked and didn't open. Try to break it open?
やむを得ない。壊そう。でも乱暴にはできないね。 中の鏡を割ってしまうかもしれない。
If the pins are on the outside, that makes it easy to attack. Otherwise, yeah, just try to shear through the pins, I guess.
こじ開ける道具はないかな。そう。
Gordo looked all over the room, trying to see if there was some tool they could use. And he noticed the door, which had been left open ever since they'd entered. He approached the door to close it, and saw the abominable shadows of people approaching from beyond the darkness of the hall. No, it wasn't shadows of people, because they weren't human at all. Gordo's voice trailed off, with the shock of seeing a procession of those not of this world. He was a servant, so he knew all the servants working for the Yashomiya family, but he didn't know about these. However, they were definitely servants. I summon Archer. They're not servants working for Yashomiya Kinzu or Yashomiya Kraus. These new servants who work for the new master of the mansion, Golden Witch Beatrice, had goat heads and bright red boiled eyes of lava. As the new master laughed loudly and trimly directed 6 of the new servants, he saw them approach, piercing the darkness as they came. Of course, she was clad in the gold butterflies that were her symbol. Gordo hurriedly closed the door and locked it. However, just as he locked it, it returned to normal, just as though a spring or something had knocked it back. It gave the illusion that some prankster beyond the door was unlocking it every time he locked it. They couldn't have reached the other side of the door yet. So who was doing it, and how? It almost felt like playing with a broken toy.
It
was like the witch could see Gordo's frantic effort through the door. Even now, the footsteps continued to approach. Wondering... So if we can trust it, which we might not necessarily be able to do, is there some kind of mechanism in this door that's preventing it from unlocking? And if so, could that have been used elsewhere? And when not just their footsteps, but even their breath could be heard. Gordo gave up on the lock and slammed into the door, locking it using his own large body.
Joji-sama! これはどうでしょう。
レターオープナーか。そっちの方がいいね。貸して。万年筆じゃうまくいかない。
George took it and once again dug into the crack under the lid of the treasure box. It looks like it's working.
早く早く。
The pressure from across the door grew even stronger. Gordo screamed. This wasn't a war cry during a test of strength. He was terrified. He was simply terrified that nothing but a single wooden door was stopping him from touching something not of his world. But he was still lucky. He wasn't touching the things directly, because they were on the other side of the door. So, if he were to touch them directly, Gordo's cry would surely turn from something brave into a pathetic, piercing scream, and therefore one that was more real. Oh? Gordo couldn't believe what was happening right before his eyes. Going through the door, Namos, slipping straight through the wood like it was water. As though this was the most natural thing in the world, and it rubbed the back of his hand as he frantically tried to hold the door shut. It slid up his arm to his chest, and then up to his chin. By now, Goda's scream wasn't even audible anymore. He could hear a sweet whispering voice from across the door. It wasn't coming from the witch, but it sounded like a young woman. However, that didn't change the fact that it came from someone not of this world. Hello there.
かわいいねえ見てるの走馬灯教えてね終わったら
I feel like I definitely could have had a more terrified expression on his face there.
ありがとうもう終わってるのね
That lewd arm burst. What? Then they heard the sound of something jumping around the room at an incredible speed. They didn't know what it was. Incredibly fast, small, like steel or maybe a beetle. When it buried itself right in the center of Golda's chest and stopped, they realized for the first time that its tree form was something like a stake with a strange design on it. Golda's large body shook, bent backwards, and fell over. As it did, the door opened softly, even though no one was pushing it, welcoming in the new master of the stream. It looked almost as though the door itself had accepted her. The ghost attendants came in one after another, 6 of them. Then that witch came in, and the gold butterflies came in. The room was wrapped in a blizzard of gold leaf, which fell and piled up, turning it more and more into a world of gold.
Shannon, ルーレットはそなたとジョージを選んだ。解放の日に感謝せよ。未練はあるまい？ないよな。惚れた男から婚約指輪をもらって夜も共にしないうちに殺されてしまっても未練なんかないよな。女の幸せを教えてもらいたかったんだろう。ああ、シャーノン、ダメダメ、垂れてるぜ。お前の口元から未練がだらだら垂れてんのが見えるぜ、シャーノン。
Crack. It was the sound of a lid to a treasure box breaking open. When George turned it over, accessory charms and various small objects that Mitsui had treasured when she was a girl fell out. Mixed in with that was a pouch that stood out from the rest. He picked it up and was immediately sure. This was it.
見つけた。これだ。
Will it be able to do anything though?
いいって及ばなかったの。
Will they need to do some kind of ritual or something maybe? Or will she just kill them before he has a chance to unveil it?
死ね。
くそ。
All at once, the gold butterflies attacked George, who was hurriedly trying to remove the contents of the pouch. Oh? At that time, a bright red flash seemed to light up the room for an instant. Shannon making a, instead of a blade, a shield, I guess? Or maybe it is a blade. That red flash seemed to cut a hole in the cloud of gold butterflies raging around the room, throwing a circle with Shannon at the centre. So, the resulting scene looked truly divine. Almost as though a single streak of light had cut through the clouds in this world of gold. George, who was curled into a ball, trying to protect himself from the group of butterflies, didn't have a clue what was going on. Then he noticed that Shannon was standing guard in front of him, shielding him. And she glared at the witch and the rest with a serious face she'd never shown him before.
忘れていた。そなたもまた金蔵の優れた家具だったな。それもカノンよりだいぶ熟成した。
カノン君をよくも殺したことじゃない。
That's fine. Killing him's fine. Don't mind that.
よくも亡骸を消し去り、その名誉まで汚そうとしたな。
おやおやシャーノ、それを怒ってるのか。カノンに会えなくて寂しいならわらわに頼めよ。いつだって会わせてやるというのに。
The witch snapped her fingers. One of the 6 goat attendants glittered gold and changed into cannon. It was definitely a sight to make one doubt their eyes. It was definitely Cannon's face. However, in those eyes, the glint of Cannon's integrity was nowhere to be seen. They were the hazy eyes of furniture that only obeyed the orders of a witch. George couldn't understand the scene right before his eyes, and he finally understood why Gorda and the rest had been unable to talk about what they'd seen in the servant room.
楽しいですか？
ああ、楽しいぞ。死が引き裂いた二人を再会させるのはいつだって楽しい。死で引き裂いて一度、合わせて二度、もう一度引き裂いて三度楽しめるのだからな。さあ、カノン、姉と遊んでやりなさい。もし痛めつけられたら、思いっきり苦悶の表情を浮かべてやるといい。
From the imposter Cannon's arm, a strangely shining curve extended. He planned to tear Shannon apart with that. With a single stroke, he would attack Shannon, who still hadn't prepared her heart, and...
許さない。一度ならず、二度までも死者を汚すなんて許せない。
ほざくな。弟に殺されろよ、ショーノ。きっといい夢が見られるぜ。
I'm guessing because it's more focused, he's able to break through the shield. The imposter cannon certainly seemed to lunge at Shannon, drawing several purple curves. But when he flew at her, it was as though some kind of invisible wall had been placed in front of her. Okay. The wall repelled the imposter, leaving a bright red ripple on its surface. No, it didn't repel him. It smashed him. It knocked him back, turning him into golden dust, into little bits, scattering him. Impressive. That foolish furniture, who had taken Cannon's form and even disgraced his honour after death, broke into countless gold butterflies. And then those butterflies themselves broke into pieces, and those pieces were broken into pieces, until there were no longer butterflies, but a golden splash that faded away,
シャロン。
Come on, open up the pouch already.
ジョージさんはそこから動かないでください。中心軸をずらしたくない。
Uh-huh.
これは驚いた。
Power of love?
虫一匹殺せない面をしてこれだけの力を見せたか。なるほど、霊境がそなたに力を貸しているというのか。
あ
しかしその霊境の本当の力を引き出すには準備も時間も足りないな。そのどちらもわらわは与えはせぬ。
The spirit mirror George gripped had let out a divine glow, displaying a strength powerful enough not to submit to wicked forces. That glow was no match for the witch's sinister nature.
これだから家具は怖い。予期せずしてタンスの角にぶつける足の小指のような気持ちよ。これだから家具は怖い。家具だ。家具。
私は家具じゃない。そしてあなたを今はとても哀れに思う。
何？ほう。1000年の魔女に100年も至らぬ家具が今何と言ったか。
あなたはとても哀れな人。愛し合う二人に未練がないわけがない。でもあなたの期待するような未練はかけらほどもない。
語るか、家具の分際で。ジョージと結ばれたくてわらわの靴を舐めた日々を忘れてわらわにそれを語るか。
愛に生き泥濘を這うが人間。それを嘲笑い見下しているつもりであなたはそれにはるかに劣る。私は今こそあなたを哀れに思う。愛し合う二人にとって添い遂げることにどれほどの意味が。意味はある、きっとある。でもそれはあなたの言うこととは全然違う。もっと新鮮にして、あなたごとき邪悪が口にする資格もないほどの新鮮な意味がある。だから私にはすでに何の未練もない。ジョージさんと愛を誓い合った。その証として指輪を受け取った。それで永遠の誓いは完了した。あなたがどんな邪悪な魔法や悪意で私たちを災難だとしても永遠は汚さない。
綺麗事を詩人のように語るな。愛は情欲なんだよ。少女漫画見たく綺麗事ばっかりで語れねえんだよ。男どもはお前の匂いに惹かれて群がるウジバエどもなんだよ。そんなこともその年でまだ理解できねえのかよ。お前は失望するぜ。その後ろのメガネ男のどす黒い欲望、一度でも覗いちまったらがっかり愕然唖然呆然、全然ダメだぜショーノ。
Sounds like Beatrice has been through a lot.
ああ、もういいや、語るな家具が。この家具何様のつもりだよ、語りやがって。愛なんて結局はど汚ねえ汚物をどう綺麗に見せようかって欺瞞なんだよ。そいつに気づいて人は大人になるんだろう。死ねよクズ。家具スクラップ。お前を汚らわしいウジ虫に変えてやるよ。それでもそのメガネがお前を愛するか試してやるよ。
And when he does,
そいつの愛のどぎたねえ現実ってやつを教えてやるよ。死ねえよガラクタが。てめえが愛を語るんじゃねえ。
The invisible column of light with Shannon at the center started to have bright red ripples drawn all over it at once. The wall did its best to withstand the unseeable malice that tried to corrode on them from all directions.
なんだよそれは。抵抗してるつもりかよ。安っぽいんだよ、薄っぺらいんだよ。お前の綺麗事と同じなんだよ、見せかけだけの薄っぺら。見たくないものをベールで覆って隠してるだけなんだよ。まだわかんないのかよ。だから家具なんだよ、家具。ほらほらほらほらほら削られてるぜ。カリカリコリコリガリガリゴリゴリなんて薄くて情けないんだよ。お前のその薄っぺらな抵抗に比べたらパルミチャーノレッチアーノの方がまだ削るのに苦労がいるぜ。
And I think on that note, I'll be ending it there for today. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And until next time, see ya.